I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for Happy Hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
Matt Fox. We are in the ever more palatial studios of the podcast Your Voice. The Man Cave Suite is getting enlarged.
Why?
Is
it because of the holidays?
Yes.
We add about 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah, you got to loosen, you got your fat pants on for the holidays.
I kind of
So
do.
we need the fat studio. So, just getting a little more breathing room.
Yeah.
And it's...
You're so far away.
I know. It's the old table's back, and we're very, very happy. And what else? You know what makes me happy, Matthew?
What's that, sir?
Mail calls.
Mail calls are so much fun.
There's a big brown box over there. Hand it to me. Hand it to me.
Sorry. Here you go.
Mail call. All right. So in the post came this very indescript brown box.
Okay.
Open the church, and there's all the people. So people watching on YouTube or Facebook or the audio podcast, it's worth it. But we cracked this bad boy up. There's all kinds of
it's a
fabulous,
party. It's a party in a box.
There's all kinds of fabulous glitter and things, and this is coming to us from our good friends at Highclere Castle.
Oh, love it.
Catherine has been on point with getting us connected with what we need, but we've talked to the folks at Highclere Castle, but this is very special.
Yeah.
Hats off to Catherine.
What are you digging for there, Jamie?
I'm digging for gold.
Are you digging for gold?
I'm digging for gold. There's gold.
Oh, because there's
gold.
Oh, look at that.
All right, so because we had the very absolute honor and privilege,
yes,
to talk to Lord Carnarvon.
Yes, we did
on the previous episode. He joined us from Highclere Castle, and I don't know if we talked about it on. We got a sneak preview.
We did get a sneak preview.
We saw these images the last time we talked, but we didn't. And I am very, very surprised that I did not spill the beans and share them. I just and Adam von Gootkin,
yes,
it teamed up with Lord Carnarvon to launch Highclere Castle, and we've talked to them a couple of times, which is magnificent.
Such a great team over there.
And Adam was telling us about a very special 100th anniversary of the discovery of King Tut's tomb.
Yep. And
they were doing something special because, I'm going to get the number wrong. I think we're on the ninth Earl of Carnarvon, and I believe number 7. It was his great-grandfather.
It was the 5th Lord of Carnarvon who discovered.
Yes,
with Howard Carter, I believe his name was.
And funded the expedition and was there for it, and. So they wanted to celebrate that, and Adam, a man of his word, said, "When this comes out, I'm going to send you a bottle." And Catherine got it all connected, and then
so pretty.
I know it's
such
gorgeous.
A pretty bottle.
It's gorgeous,
yeah.
And Adam is with us tonight to tell us all about what's going on. Adam,
welcome to the Man Cave.
Welcome back to the Man Cave. We are mail call is like my favorite day ever.
Thank you, guys. Matt, Jamie, it's great to see you again. I love the Man Cave. So it's good to be here.
Oh man!
Welcome back.
Just we got to start from the outside in. Or you tell us where to start, because the bottle itself is a story, and then what's happening inside, yet another story.
And I need to preface this
and the story behind it.
And the story behind it, because the bottle itself, I could see there was a lot of thought put into this bottle, just the outside of the bottle. So let's start there, Adam. Help us understand what you kind of brought to the table with your team and how you came up with this beautiful bottle.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, obviously, the core foundation of the whole thing is really the Highclere Castle gin, right?
Yeah.
And it was a few years ago that I had heard Lord Carnarvon mention that the 100-year anniversary of the discovery of King Tut's tomb by his great-grandfather and Howard Carter was coming up in 2022.
Right.
So, with me, like, I'm such a romantic.
Oh, my God.
And I can't pass up an opportunity to tell a great story. But my heart and my spirit and my love is really in crafting, exceptional spirits. And so merging those two worlds together for me was a neat challenge.
Oh.
we obviously with Highclere Castle Gin have created, one of the most awarded and growing to be the most awarded gin in the world. And so, check there. Okay. The recipe we've got, the packaging, like it's really a special product that really liquefies the spirit of Highclere Castle.
Well done.
With this one, it was in a way, it was more familiar to me, this challenge, because one, I'm an amateur aficionado of ancient Egypt.
Okay.
From a historical perspective. And two, I really love brown spirits. Whiskeys are a sincere passion to me. And I made whiskeys at our, my distillery before launching Highclere here in New England. And so it was an opportunity for me to cross-sect the two worlds together in a way that hasn't really been done in an exceptional way, in my opinion, yet. There's a couple out there that are quite good, actually. But
Okay.
Not really in a commercial way. And so I started looking at the flavor profile I wanted for the juice. And, the packaging is really important. But for me, what comes first and foremost is that flavor. What are you getting? Where is it coming from? What's the rationale? So with Highclere, we've got Highclere Castle Gin, our flagship, as you guys both know it well.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a very citrus-forward gin. We've got oats. We're the first gin in the world to use oats, which round out that finish so it's creamy and velvety. So my kind of forecast on a flavor was, let me access barrels from the 3 finest countries that have mastered the art of brown spirits.
Okay.
And those are Scotland, France, and America.
Oh.
And in Scotland, we've got Scotch whiskey. In France, we have cognac and Armagnac. In America, we have bourbon.
Right.
So in my mind, those are 3 great sources for spent whiskey barrels that would add just a touch of the magic I wanted for the spirit inside. So I secured with my friend Raj Bhakta, the founder of Whistle Pig and who now owns Bhakta Armagnac. I sourced 50-year-old Armagnac barrels.
Wow.
We sourced old Scotch whiskey barrels and new unused American oak whiskey barrels.
Ooh.
And we put a Highclere Castle Gin inside for 2 years where it slept.
Ooh,
and I tasted it along
You've
the
been
way.
plotting. You've been
Plotting, 100%.
It's,
And the result is this golden colored magic that is like, I call it toasted citrus brulee.
Wait, repeat that.
Toasted citrus brulee.
Oh, Nick, we see you. Don't get us wrong. We see you. We'll bring
Yeah.
you in here in a second.
So think notes of caramel and vanilla and toasted smoke with kind of a scotchy finish. And the result is absolutely exceptional. And the packaging that you're seeing there was, I had this vision of when Howard Carter, when he peered into the tomb with his lantern, they knocked a couple bricks out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Light shone through. Lord Carnarvon was right behind them, kind of hand on the shoulder. And Lord Carnarvon said, "What do you see?" And Howard Carter said, "Wonderful things." And then, of course, they went inside and they found this kind of all these amazing, pieces in gold. And so to get the gold to look the way it does on that bottle in front of you was about 6 months of working with the company, because it's very hard to paint glass gold in a very realistic way.
Fair.
Perhaps more importantly, though, is I engaged with 2 Egyptologists, from one of which is a professor at Yale.
Okay.
Famous Egyptologists. They go by Vintage Egyptologists on Instagram. And the first challenge was, how do we translate Highclere Castle into authentic ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs? Right
I
there.
love that.
Because Google will give you a phonetical spelling, Highclere Castle, but it doesn't work that way, because that's not the way the ancient Egyptians wrote. So what they came up with is this, and this spells Tahut Kat Hejet, and that means the great estate, she who is high, she who is bright or clear.
Wow.
In other words, Highclere Castle.
Oh,
That is beautiful.
So that was followed by these beautiful panels that came off of the inside of the tomb.
Okay.
yeah.
This one here, King Tutankhamun is feeding his wife wine, and in this one, his wife is feeding him wine.
Jeez.
Both of which
Nice.
I won't get into, but when translated into ancient Egyptian, is actually the same word as ejaculation.
Oh.
So there's sexual innuendo there. Funny, to be honest. And then, of course, cartouche of Tutankhamun himself, representing the sun god Ra right there.
Wow.
And so a very special packaging.
You had to be torn about because the standard Highclere Castle is in a smoke blue, a very 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 smoked blue.
Purple, yeah, lavender,
Yeah, and lavender. Okay, purple, and it's gorgeous.
It's
But
salmon.
with this being you were probably torn about maybe just letting the gold of the juice shine through. You know, it was probably did you labor over that?
Yeah, it's a great question, actually. And that was tempting. The problem is that no one has ever taken gin, put it in 50-year-old Armagnac barrel, Scotch whiskey, and a new American oak. So I didn't know what the color would look like. And so that wasn't really a factor in this case, because if I'm going to display a whiskey or a barrel-aged spirit, then it better be relatively vibrant.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how this would be. And thankfully, it ended up being the golden color that's glorious in a glass. But you know what? My thought was I wanted to stay true to the spirit of alchemy, which is the creation of gold from magic,
Right.
which is what King Tut today, if he was to see that bottle, he would have thought we've turned the glass into gold. That bottle in your hand in ancient Egypt would probably have commanded more money than a solid block of gold, because we've actually committed alchemy. We've created the magic of turning glass into gold.
I like it. Oh my God, I cracked it. I hadn't. Catherine sent this like a week or two ago, and I've been a good boy. I have not cracked it till now.
I can witness. I heard the crack of
And
the cap.
We're
yes.
gonna open it up, but before we open it up, because accompanying Highclere Castle gin are the Highclere Castle cigars from Foundation Cigars. Nick Melillo is the mastermind behind all those blends.
Yes, Nick, welcome to the Man Cave, sir.
Welcome.
Guys, thanks for having me. Adam, great to see you.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So I didn't want to
just
pour.
out my bottle.
I didn't want to pour and say cheers until you were up and live with us.
Yeah.
This is actually the first bottle I'm opening myself. Adam's. Oh,
Look at
giddy
that.
up.
Giddy up.
Adam, every time I've had this, it's been from your bottle. So this is the first one you gave me.
Well, that's a nice change.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so I know, right? So I opened
that
it up.
is liquid
Cheers,
gold.
guys.
Cheers,
Oh,
guys. To the
cheers.
Man Cave Happy Hour.
Thanks
Cheers.
for having me.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Isn't that something? Now, have you gents put a little
oh,
water?
Okay, I have to excuse myself for a
this
second. I'll be
please.
right back.
yeah. There's some bottled water in the other room.
No.
Oh,
That's
Build
fantastic.
up that flavor.
I'm sorry.
That water's going to create a
think it's
chemical reaction that allows some of those fusel oils and chemicals to burst.
Oh,
and it's
what if I use-
incredible out of the cask that way. But
Can I do a Pellegrino drop or no? Pellegrino drop?
Yeah,
No.
of course, of course, Nick.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know you
I like it just like this.
Oh my
I
gosh,
know.
we're doing it neat.
Yeah. we're-
Oh my
I'm gonna do
goodness.
one little drop.
Because it smells like the regular Highclere.
It smells. It
The
smells
nose.
like Highclere Castle.
There's
yes.
I'm not getting too much different off of the nose, but when it hits your mouth, there is something absolutely magical
I
happening.
got some citrus on the nose, Jamie. I really did get some
I
citrus on the
definitely
nose.
get some citrus.
Look for that. Look for that. When I say toasted citrus brulee, what I mean is this. Imagine taking an orange peel
Uh-huh.
and hitting it quickly with a torch, and then resting and then shaving that slightly caramelized orange peel on top of a creme brulee. You get some of those vanilla and caramels out of the flavor of it.
Right.
That's kind of the flavor that I was hoping for, and that's what we've gotten there. So once you sip it and you kind of breathe it in, switch it around a little bit, and then kind of inhale it, you'll get the full kind of circle, and then it finishes with a Scotch whiskey, almost peaty smokiness.
There, yeah. It's but it's not too peaty.
No.
It's that the smoke of the peat. And we were at a whiskey fest over the weekend, and what did we do that was smoky? Oh, it was some tequila.
It was the tequila,
at tequila, and that was decidedly smoke.
That was the best cow.
Padre Azul, yeah, it was like some crazy good stuff. But this is, it's a different smoke. It's that
my
it's that
goodness.
romantic
Yeah,
Scottish
That's
Highland
it.
smoke.
You got it. That's exactly the point. And I spent about 6 months prepping it, And it was really funny because it was risky. Like I could forecast what I wanted, and I tried to put the building blocks there. But with spirits, you never know. I mean, we had to send all these barrels to England.
Right.
And climate changes, and there's weather. English weather is very temperamental, and so I theorized what we would end up with, but it wasn't a guarantee because it was such a small batch.
Yeah.
Because we only did 2,000 cases of this, and I'll never make it again.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't celebrate the 100th anniversary when it's not the 100th anniversary, right? It's
Exactly.
oh my gosh, this is special.
This is brilliant, is what it is.
Isn't it unique?
Yes.
I mean,
It still
I don't think
has
I've
all
ever
the-
tasted anything quite like it.
Yeah, the gin, it still has all the gin, the beautiful notes on the nose,
From-
and all the
from the
beautiful Highclere Castle notes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And it doesn't get buried or lost. It's just there's more. There's more layers. It's not muffling the original. It's not it's not muffling it. It's not overpowering it.
No.
It's simply adding to it.
I don't even think I'm drinking gin. That's how nice it is. That's how it
feels.
Yeah, just that. I hate to use the word mouthfeel, but it's lingering in the back of my throat, and it's just hanging out and making itself prevalent, but not in such a destructive way where I'm going to be like, no, never again. I will come back to this many, many times over, as long as there's this bottle.
Yeah, it's well, with only 2,000 cases,
right?
How many are allocated around the world in different countries?
Well, we've sold already. We've sold easily half in the last 3 weeks that it's been on the market.
Because you went live on what, the 25th of November? Was that when
Something
you guys?
like that? Yeah, exactly. And so it'll be sold through by January, February. And my promise is not to make it again, because I just felt like this was about celebrating a very special moment in history. And it was also about putting our creative energies into something that was a one-time gift. And it's not always about just kind of commercializing everything that we can. Sometimes it's about making something special and rare. The cigar, for example, is very limited batches ongoing, very expensive tobacco. Like the whole project is really about, it's for those that really want to embark on this extent of the journey.
Yes, and thank you for bringing us along on that journey.
Yeah, we really
Honestly.
appreciate your generosity with these. Yes.
So the reason why Nick is here, what was it like trying to figure out the taste profile of the cigar itself to fit with the 100th anniversary of the Highclere gin that we're looking at today?
Well, I mean, Adam had given me early samplings of what he was looking for in the gin early on.
Okay.
And I had an idea of what he wanted from the flavor profiles that he explained. And of course, working with Highclere gin. I mean, I think it's interesting to note, I'm not a huge gin drinker myself.
Okay.
But the first time I tasted Highclere Castle gin and tasted it neat, it really changed my whole perspective on gin, and then also learning from Adam, right? I mean, just about, I know cigars. I'm not a huge drinker. Being in Nicaragua most of my time, we really only have access to rum a lot of the times over the past 20 years.
And coffee.
Coffee. I mean, coffee is one of my drinks of choice when pairing with cigars. So I was fortunate to be involved early on when Adam was working with Lord Carnarvon and coming up with Highclere gin. So having worked together, we really know the vision that each other is kind of looking for. And when Adam brought King Tut's 100th anniversary, I think Adam and I connected very early on in our friendship on history and culture. And, just this, Adam is a Renaissance man and we're both Renaissance. Yes. So, we have very much of the same kind of visions, overall vision. So, I work with some of the best tobacco growers in the world, and I chose some very special lots of tobacco. When it comes to tobacco in general, what's really making the difference in quality and also flavor is your ability to age tobaccos, right? You can really easily ferment tobacco quickly,
Sure.
get it to market. as you know, the longer you sit an aging tobacco, the more you have money tied up. So,
right.
this is really what distinguishes inexpensive cigars from cigars of greater quality. And my forte is cigar tobacco, so black tobaccos, and knowing the market of cigar tobaccos throughout the world. So I had an idea of the tobaccos that would work with this blend, and was able to select some really amazing lots of the filler tobaccos come from Nicaragua, but they're all aged for over 3 years. So what happens is a lot of times the tobaccos will go into fermentation for 1.5, 2 years.
Okay.
And then what we do is bale age the tobacco. And that's where, a lot of people don't have the luxury of taking the time to do that. So it goes into bales of about 125 to 130 pounds. And then they're aged in special rooms for an additional year.
Wow.
So
With specific humidity requirements and what have you?
Yeah.
Wow.
That humidity requirements and temperature requirements from seed to the final product is always something that's very important. You'll have different conditions that you'll need at the different points of the process, but always temperature and humidity is very important. So when you're bale aging, you do have to be careful for it not to be too humid, because humidity can also trigger the tobacco to continue to maybe ferment too fast.
Fair.
Or it could cause the tobacco to potentially rot, or too dry. You'll end up killing a lot of the essential oils and flavor in the leaf.
Right.
So aging time is crucial. We worked with a Matafina binder from Brazil, which is one of my favorite tobaccos, as the leaf underneath the wrapper.
The leaf underneath. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
So you have the 3-part, your filler, which is the inside. We call it tripa in Nicaragua, which means the guts
Okay.
of the cigar is your filler inside. Then holding all of the guts together is your binder. So that's the next leaf. And then the final is your wrapper, what we're seeing on the outside. So the binder is from Matafina, which is one of the oldest seed varieties in the world. It's called Matafina, from an area outside of Salvador, which is called Matafina, Brazil. So Brazil is actually one of the
Almas.
Cruz de las Almas. Yeah, that's it. It's about 2 hours west of Salvador. It's called, not the country Salvador.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So now,
Nick is the most passionate master blender and specialist in this field that I've ever seen. His obsession, and as he mentioned, like we're both such romantics in the stuff that we do, and our palates are similar as well. And I think, Nick, if I may just say, like, one of the things that I think helped, with the Highclere Castle barrel aged gin, it was quite easy, because we were able to call it the Highclere Castle barrel aged gin, and
Right.
that was its defining thing. With the cigar, it was a bit of a thing, because we had to figure out what's the name of this. We've got a Highclere Castle Edwardian and a Victorian in the Foundation portfolio, and so what will be the name of this cigar? And in talking with the Egyptologists, there we go, I was really going deep with them, and then Nick and I were talking about the kind of, what was the etiquette, what was the culture of smoking in ancient Egypt.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, they did not have access to tobacco yet. There were other parts of the world that were, enjoying tobacco, but the ancient Egyptians did not. But what they would do is they would take bowls of incense and light it, and then they would lean over it and inhale it.
Right.
And their word for incense that they chose was Senetjer, which means in ancient Egyptian translated as either that which makes holy, or kind of the gods.
oh,
So they believed that by breathing this incense in, very much the way many Indianic kind of cultures around the world believed that tobacco did, it brought them closer to the gods. So we chose the name Senetjer. And I think Nick then, of course, did his magic to say, okay, like,
And
Yeah.
well, and it's Senetjer. And then the packaging, the other all the packaging is just amazing. So these are like you call it torpedo.
Yeah, it's a torpedo.
That's a perfecto. So it's a 6 3/4
Right.
by 52 ring gauge a perfecto. We call
Perfecto.
it. So a perfecto is something that is tapered on
both
both
ends.
the
All right.
head and the foot.
That's
as
why
say.
we got the pros
Just-
around.
That's right.
I call it a torpedo.
Just a side note on what Adam was saying.
Yeah.
That is actually where they think smoking really evolved from. Is what they called in this part of the world was the smudging rituals. So where you would take the smoke of sage, or you would take frankincense and myrrh, which they were probably using in Egypt.
Yeah, they were.
And use it to, or in this part of the world, in the sweat lodges, that eventually this smudging ritual of using it to sort of purify your body or rid yourself of any, negative spirits, eventually people began inhaling it and exhaling it, and then eventually that evolved into smoking practice in this part of the world.
Wow.
Which is
And let's not forget, just to get rid of the stink.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I'm wrong there, because they were quite clean. They were, in fact, cleaner than many. They were very intense with their rose water baths and their kind of floral baths and all that stuff. So I actually think it was less of a problem than they had in Victorian England.
Probably. But Adam, you were holding up the little sarcophagus cigar box.
This is such a masterpiece.
That's
because
an amazing. Let me see the mouse, man.
For this one, I did a bit of research
yeah.
and some historical development, but I have to hand it to Nick and his team in Nicaragua. This is very hard to bring this box to life. So first of all, looking at the shape of it for a moment.
Yeah.
This is a very traditional, very boring, actually, ancient Egyptian storage box replica.
Okay.
There were many of these in a pile in Tutankhamun's tomb in the corner. This
Really?
would be equivalent today to like a Tupperware box. And had Tutankhamun been visited by, someone important from the very far east,
Okay.
where he was brought cigars, he would have placed them in a box like this, where there's 4 legs. And I wish my Egyptologists were here, but they're in Egypt. So there's a word for all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's a knob on the front, as you can see,
Yeah.
and a knob up top. And that would have been wound with a rope or twine and then sealed with a wax to prove it hasn't been tampered with.
My goodness.
And this was a very boring, standard storage box from ancient Egypt. And when Nick and I were talking about the packaging, of course, the
scarab, yeah.
because all of our boxes are made from sustainably grown red cedar on the east coast of Nicaragua from Nick and his box company. His task was then, how do we bring this to life and make it actually special? So I'll hand it back to Nick, because this was a feat unto itself.
Yeah, I remember, having these conversations with you, Adam, and then actually looking at the different boxes that were found in the tomb, and then trying to figure out how to execute. And we did, with the Highclere Victorian Edwardian boxes, that box was a challenge, because just to get, that Highclere is gold foiled onto the top of the box, and to get it all done properly, we had a challenge. Lord Carnarvon was actually in Nicaragua when we were trying to figure that one out.
Wow.
And just to get that frame, to get the center image is quite easy, but then to get equal pressure, to produce multiple boxes, that frame, all the designs, the Lord Carnarvon seal.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was very challenging. It took us a while. So then to be posed with this project took on a whole nother level of challenges. I am very lucky. My coworker in Nicaragua and our art director, Alex Garcia,
Okay.
really helped me out with this project and getting, working with the box factory on a daily basis. And we use a couple different, this is all made in Nicaragua, which is another feat, because a lot of boxes, as you'll see in our industry, some of the fancier ones, they do send them out sometimes to other companies in Spain or China. And so I'm proud to say this box was 100% made in Nicaragua. But this is all, gold foil done on the outside. And on the inside, I don't know if you guys see here, it does come in this beautiful felt bag.
okay.
We had the gold foil of King Tut's seal.
Go
here.
big or go home, guys,
That's-
man.
I didn't want it to be wrapped in cellophane.
Sure.
It is when you get it, the outer is wrapped because the felt actually takes on a lot of different. I didn't want this to be dirty
Sure.
when people got it, so I wanted to protect it.
Right.
But I didn't want the cigars also, to be in cellophane. I'm not a huge fan of cellophane in general. I just feel you're working with cigars, something that's coming from the earth and this amazing process that takes years. And then to put some sort of poly cellophane, in between it, just for me, it just kind of kills a lot of that romanticism.
Yeah.
So for these, I thought it was very important, to keep them uncellophaned. And it was really Adam and I, working together and talking about the different style boxes that we were looking at within the tomb and what we thought would work the best for this project. And, Adam working with the Egyptologist to really signify the importance of the feet, the shape of the box, the knobs. I mean, everything has a rhyme and a reason. We are not ones for gimmicks. I'm not a big fan of gimmicks. They have their place, but we want to be true to paying homage.
Sure.
To I think we do that in our businesses. Adam with his products at Highclere, Foundation Cigars, we are about, the real essence of these projects and the history and the culture. And, for me, King Tut's tomb has always had a place in my imagination since I was a little child.
Sure.
And, I'm here in New Haven, Connecticut, where we have the Peabody Museum, where you have Yale and a number of Egyptologists here. So it was amazing for Adam to work with two Egyptologists that are actually doing this day in, day out, and then to get their blessing that, this was something
Legit.
Yeah.
It just made it even cooler. So, this took almost 2 years, even more to really get this down.
So Adam actually had a question about the Egyptologist.
Yeah.
Were you interviewing folks, to bring them along this journey with you guys? What was that search like to find the right person for this project?
Great question.
Yeah. So this is actually a very funny story.
Oh.
So here's what happened. So I had tasked our design company.
Okay.
We started with the gin before the cigars. So this was in development first. And I had my design company, who are incredible bottle designers. I've used them from the beginning. And they're out of Washington. They're called Ignite.
Okay.
Beverage.
DC
And
or
they're-
state? Washington State or Washington, DC?
Washington State.
Okay.
Ignite Beverage. And they were working on developing the kind of layout and the gold sheen I envisioned. I wanted it to always look like, no matter where you hold it in the light, I wanted it to look like, you see the way the corner lights up?
Yeah.
Like it's always like someone is far away and has a torch at me. Like I'm in the tomb and this is the way it catches light. This is very difficult stuff. And they were lining up these things. And I told them I want Highclere Castle in hieroglyphs on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So they had laid out these panels and they had laid out all this note from Lord Lady Carnarvon and I on the back. And they were doing all this thing. And on all of our products is the
that's my favorite, but that's my favorite. One of my favorite things about the Highclere Castle bottles is the barcode is shaped like the Highclere Castle.
Yeah.
I love that.
little Easter egg. And I realized something. I get the final approval for the product over.
Okay.
And I'm looking at this on the screen. And I said, wait a minute. These guys are good, but they don't know ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Did they take Highclere Castle and translate it phonetically on Google Translate app for ancient Egypt? Have fun with ancientegypt.com. And so I'm like, I'll bet that's what happened by accident. And they wouldn't know unless, like, I had read enough since I was a boy, like Nick, that I knew that ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs did not translate phonetically. That doesn't work that way. They spoke really almost in riddles. They grouped hieroglyphs to make phrases and sentences. They could mean many things depending on the wit of the writer.
Yep.
So it was not black and white the way it is today. A is A, B is B, and that's that.
That's not what that tattoo does not say.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I said, "Oh my God, stop this whole thing. We're about to go into production, and these have to be made. We have to be going a year in advance to get this going.
Right,
yeah.
right.
In England and shipped over here and
Get
all that
approved
stuff.
by the Liquor Commission.
All that stuff. All the
Them
amazing-
darn revenuers, you got to get past them too.
Well, there is that. And so I said, my God, I had a bit of a freak out moment. And I said, we are going to be potentially the laughing stocks of the academia of Egyptology. If I'm not careful right now, this has just become an accidental, gift shop gimmick instead of an homage, as Nick put it, to what this is really about celebrating. And so I got on Google right away. And as Nick mentioned, I'm quite close to Yale.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought there must be a couple of Egyptologists here that can help us. So it turns out I find these two Egyptologists, a married couple, who have a huge following on Instagram called Vintage Egyptologists. And they are completely lifestyle people. So I sent a cold email off to them both. And of course, when you're emailing an Egyptologist from Highclere Castle, they immediately know exactly where you're coming from.
Oh my God!
Of course,
yeah.
right?
If you know, you know, right? Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. They responded the very next day, and I thought they were both fascinating and very, very intelligent and incredibly sweet, and they took the project on with fervor and excitement. And helped us to bring the products to life. And I said, stop the whole production process. We need to get their translation first of all, and then they advised us on all the rest of it. And it just went from there.
Gorgeous. And then the hieroglyphs that you pulled to be part of the story on each side, him serving her and then and her serving him, it's just gorgeous. It just plays so well. It's like it was made like they knew 4,000 years from now there's going to be a gin bottle with this on it.
I kind of look at you. I'm like, Adam, welcome to Element. Welcome to Adam.
Yeah,
because you just combined all of these passions and compassion that you have for these.
I love that you just said that though, because like my actual weird, irrelevant primary goal with this was that if Tutankhamun was to visit us today, how would his reaction be to the products?
Absolutely fair.
And that was like actually my weird motivation through this. And what's funny about the bottle is he would look at this immediately and know that this is his name in what we would call in our language today, it's almost a monogram. The three pillars of the feet, the way the scarab beetle is, and then holding up the sun god Ra.
Right.
This would have been hanging on his neck on a necklace. And when he saw this and Tahut Kat Hejet, and then the panels, and then the alchemy of the golden bottle.
Yeah.
And then when you move on to this, and the poetry that's written on the sides.
Yeah.
And again, his symbol in the scarab and this Egyptian box. The Egyptians agreed with me that he would really chuckle and say, "This is very clever, and I know this is mine."
Yeah. Where's my royalty?
Yeah, there's that. Yeah. So the gin's very limited release. This is it. You got those 2,000 cases, and once they're gone, they're gone. I've gone back to the Highclere Castle cigars several times. Just throwing them back in the humidor and enjoying the heck out of them. Nick, they're great. Is this a limited run as well?
750 boxes we did.
Wow.
And we're finishing shipping all of those pretty much this week. So there's been a huge outcry for the cigar. It was reserved for our Highclere Castle customers specifically first. So those have been supporting the Highclere brand. And those guys were first in line. Yeah. And it's unfortunately there's not going to be probably enough based on the demand that's out there. I was, you know, I knew what we were working on was very special, of course, but it was interesting to see. You never know sometimes how people will react to certain things in the market, and especially the cigar market. I mean, it's a very interesting market. Not many people smoke cigars, and so it's an unusual group.
Not many people drink gin.
That's true too. That's true too.
We're both at 5%.
So it's the cigar. Just when we showed it this summer at our trade show, there's just been an incredible outcry for it, and everybody I've talked to and everybody I've seen has just been raving about the cigar, and just the box, the whole package they can't get over.
So we're sitting in a building, Nick, and we are not able.
Yeah, we can't light them up in the
light
studio.
these up in studio.
Oh man, you guys are being tortured.
I know.
It is torture.
I know.
It really is. But
We're looking forward to doing them, though. We're,
absolutely.
very, very.
So a few months back, Adam, you guys launched a campaign for folks to become a part of the Highclere Castle family, if you will, to be a part of that. How is that? Is that over? Is that still going right now? So
yeah, that was a really fun kind of experiment. So the bottom line is, we one of the ways that we financed our global launch was through a Series A capital raise.
Yeah.
So we brought in strategic investors from around the world to come in and it's very expensive to get a liquor brand going in 7 countries kind of at the same time.
Yeah.
And after COVID ended, we were looking at raising capital to fuel our growth into Asia and more into Europe and stuff.
Right.
And I had this wild idea. I said, you know what? We've got tens of thousands of customers.
Right.
Let's do something a little bit bizarre for a luxury brand. Let's
invite them in.
Yeah, invite them in. Let's allow our customers and fans to become shareholders in the company.
Sure.
So we launched a crowd fund, which I never in my life thought I would ever do, and it's not a typical Highclere Castle kind of brand play either.
Right.
But I'm so glad I did it because, well, first of all, we raised about $800,000 from about 700 fans of the gin.
That's fantastic.
And that which has helped fuel our growth even further. But what I care about more is that we allowed so many people to come in as shareholders and really partners that are brand ambassadors around the world in the gin. So it was a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah. So were those folks allowed to get a sneak peek or the cigar early then?
Oh yeah, they got access to the cigar links and the gin earlier than anyone else. They got they're being invited to virtual events that we're doing, all sorts of kind of behind the scenes stuff. Absolutely.
That's great.
So yeah, this 100-year anniversary, it is a very special thing. People are celebrating Tutankhamun all over the place. It became very popular with the Van Gogh, and it's like this immersive Van Gogh, right? And you go, and it's it's great because I did that. I took my mom, and she loved it. And now they have a couple other ones happening, and one of them
DIA
is the submersive or immersive. It's not submersive, immersive. Tutankhamun exhibit, and I'm like, you know what? It looks fun and everything, but I don't want to do that. I want to go into. I want to hit the.
You want to go to Highclere Castle?
Highclere Castle. I want to go to Highclere Castle.
I'll tell you what, even better. This year, Lord and Lady Carnarvon have been to Egypt twice to kind of celebrate this great anniversary. And in fact, Lady Carnarvon was made godmother to a Viking cruise line vessel that was up that way. There's a lot of neat stuff that's happening. And the Winter Palace, of course, is still in Cairo, which is where Lord Carnarvon's great-grandfather stayed, while he was in Cairo for the digs.
Wow.
And right now, John and Colleen, the Egyptologists that helped us, vintage Egyptology, they're on a dig in Luxor. They will be there through Christmas.
Wow.
So this is all about history and people, and I love storytelling, and Nick loves storytelling, and the way we're able to kind of consistently, I feel like, liquefy in my case, but smokify in Nick's, the spirit of Highclere into these, award-winning products because we give our souls and our lives to it. It's pretty special and pretty unique, and I'm so proud of everything that we we do, and our teams, back us up on these insane ideas.
As you guys should be. The passion that you guys have for what you do on the daily is incredible. And, to be friends with you, to be connected with you, and to share a glass of, Highclere Castle with you is just the best experience ever. So thank you for everything.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
And we're like cheerleaders. Everybody, we turn this on to people all the time. And I can't rave enough about
Honestly.
the Highclere Castle, and now I can't rave enough about this, the barrel age, and the Foundation Cigars. It's just like I said, I go to them again. I had a poker night, and like my fraternity brothers came over, and my wife lets us smoke cigars in the house. I don't know, she's crazy. I love her. We were passing out the Highclere Castles. It was fun. I like I said, I'm a cheerleader for it, and because it's so unique. It's so special.
It's a different experience than what because I like you guys. I was never a big gin drinker in the past.
Oh yeah,
and since I have tried Highclere Castle, that's the only gin I will gravitate towards in this day and age, just because it is that good. It's the only gin that I will drink straight, as I am doing this evening.
Yeah,
because it's so
easy.
easy to drink, and it's so nice, and it really puts you into a space that you could be in the most cluttered room ever, but when you have this, you just feel like your space opens up.
I grabbed that water and I threw drops in it.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Adam.
good.
Yeah, I threw the drops in it. That's it.
It will change the flavor profile.
We did, and it definitely changed the flavor profile, and it's even expanding more. And it's still there, and I know it's there, and I don't have to go back to it as much as I want to.
Is it leaning? I'm susceptible to suggestions, but after adding the water, is it leaning back more towards the gin side? And those the botanicals, opening up a bit more for me.
It should, yeah. And I think like one of the ways that I've enjoyed the barrel aged gin the most is stirred in a very, very dry martini with an orange twist kind of misted on top.
Oh,
Bond.
And that is where I found, because there's something about adding water to bring it back to the botanicals, but the smoke and the vanilla and the caramels are still there.
Mm-hmm.
You want that there. Stirred, not shaken.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of vermouth, a very high quality dry vermouth. And you will find that it really tastes well. It reminds me a bit of the Senetjer. The whole thing is kind of about closing your eyes, and like I keep saying this very dramatic statement that the Highclere Castle gin and the Senetjer cigar, they don't scream history, they whisper it. And it's very dramatic, but it's true. It's not trying to be gauche about it. It's just saying, close your eyes and think about the flavors and the aromas of that time.
Yeah.
Think about the flames and the romance of it. And I really do feel like Nick and I have, I don't know, captured that for a moment.
It's emulated. It's totally emulated in these two together. And I wish I could smoke this, but but just the two of them together, I can just see somebody just sitting back and just going, I've made it. Right?
So I picked up a couple because I didn't know Catherine was sending me the cigar. She sent the gin first, and then she sent the cigar. So I went to pick up a couple, and I called our local Nick. The first time you and I met was at Ambassador Cigar here in Metro Detroit, and we sat down and talked.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a Set the Wayback Machine, Sherman. That was about 4 years ago. We sat down and chit-chatted at Ambassador. And so I called up my boys at Ambassador, and I'm like, "Hey, I need the latest Highclere." I couldn't pronounce it.
Senetjer, yes.
that Egyptian one there, yeah, that one with the bug on it. That's the one I need there. He said we have 5 boxes. He goes, "I think I have 2 cigars left." Wow. He goes, "You better come up today." And so I went up there and I grabbed them because I didn't know Catherine was sending them. So I'm stocked now. So I'm very happy.
Nick told me that people have had a problem with the name, and I was super historic on the whole thing and romantic and da da da.
But that's
You're talking to the guy that named a cigar Wawense. Yeah, so I learned.
Hey, I want that one with the bug on it. Yeah, not in it, on it. That's the one. That's the one I want. My favorite beetle, right there.
This is the fifth beetle right here.
Yeah.
The beetle.
The symbol of light, the life, the beetle.
So guys,
Not
help.
the Beatles.
Yeah, help us understand. You've launched the 100th anniversary of the Highclere Castle Gin barrel aged. What's coming down the pipe in the next couple of years? What are you guys kind of focusing on right now?
Yeah, well, I've got one vision for another line extension for this year.
Okay.
That will be really special. I think, in a way, it was brought on by this barrel aged gin because I thought it would be quite fun to kind of create a product that was very true to Highclere, but incorporated a rose gold. Like think of the apple rose gold, because now we proved we can do a very authentic gold, and we've got purple as our flagship.
Yep.
There was a story earlier this year that I really enjoyed watching of Lady Carnarvon, and she worked with a team to craft a rose.
Okay.
And so this rose has won many awards, and there is now a Lady Carnarvon rose.
Ah,
Wow.
And it's a specific breed, and it has its own scent, and it's got its own coloring, and it's very, very special, actually. And Highclere's known for its gardens, and Lady Carnarvon is an incredible gardener. She knows where she wants things, and Lord Carnarvon as well, to be honest with you. So I started dreaming up this kind of idea. I'm very cautious about flavored gin line extensions.
Okay.
I find that they're out of control, especially in the UK. If there's a fruit or a plant you can throw into a gin, they're doing it. And I don't want to follow the trends. But I do feel like Highclere has such a rich connection to the earth and to its gardens. And Lady Carnarvon is such a great cultivator of these plants and flowers that I do want to do something around this. So I've started playing around with something I'm calling the Highclere Castle Gin Peach Rose, which we're playing with flavors and concepts around blood orange and some apricot and some other things.
Fun.
In a rose gold bottle that would be a permanent product. But I want it to be, again, my rule with all spirits is if you can't sip it straight, I'm not releasing it.
That's one of the best things I've heard ever.
yeah.
Because we try everything neat from the get-go, because that's where the essence lies, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I have no interest in making cocktail spirits, although the spirit, if drunk and neat, can really shine better than any other in a cocktail. And I'm all about my cocktails for sure. So we're playing around with that for a future product right now. And there's a lot coming up. Listen, we've got, in 5 months' time, we have the coronation of King Charles, which is a momentous occasion in human history. And I think he's going to be an amazing king. And we certainly have to think about things we might do to have a bit of fun celebrating that. We're developing a special cocktail for the Highclere Castle Gin around that right now that
Fantastic.
I think is something he'd like. And we've got some charitable connections to doing some really great things for Her Late Majesty the Queen, as I serve on her Commonwealth Trust.
Wow.
And so we're going to see if we can raise some money towards some of her causes and have some fun along the way. And I'm sure Nick and I will get, in 4 months, 5 months, we'll get a little bit itchy around what's next for the Highclere line of the foundation. And I'll call him or he'll call me with something bizarre and we'll get all excited about it. So,
Well, I really hope that we can, when you come up with that cocktail for Charles and the coronation, let's get together. Nick, come on in, and we'll stir it up and just kind of talk it up and just have a cocktail together.
Yeah,
blend it up. We've done that. There's a subscription box here in the States you can get. It's called Shaker and Spoon. It's kind of like one of those subscription, and they send you enough to make 2 different cocktails, but 4 of them, and it's really cool. There's recipes and stuff
based out of Brooklyn.
Yeah, and
Brooklyn,
we've done that. And we sit here and we mix it up and then just have the cocktails and chat it up. I would love to do that with the King with King Charles for the coronation. If you guys find the time,
done.
We'll pull out the purple bottle and get all the ingredients and have some fun with it.
Absolutely,
would be honored to have that drink with you guys. So
yeah. Let us know what it is. We might even call in a bartender and have them do it.
We know a few.
Yeah,
we know a few.
We'll have them shake it so we can sit here and jibber jabber while they're mixing,
doing their thing.
I like mixing them up too, though. I do that. I like and that I can't expound about doing it neat. But I love making cocktails too. I love entertaining people.
Cocktailing is fun.
Yeah,
cocktailing is fun. It's like an easy dish. And
right.
It brings people joy, and there's an art to it, and it's elegant, and there's nothing better than a good cocktail. Sure.
I love it.
Nick, what else we need to know about Foundation? What's going on?
Oh, well,
Can't stop smelling the cigar.
We've been busy, fulfilling all the orders. We have our big trade show usually in July, and so now from September until this time, we're trying to fulfill all the orders from the show. This release was a big one, so we're still fulfilling orders and keeping busy. Next year, we're going to be announcing our new office is going to be opened on a 100-acre tobacco farm in the heart of the Connecticut River Valley.
Oh my goodness!
So I haven't even gotten Adam up there. Lord Carnarvon actually got a sneak peek before Adam.
Wow,
that's right. That's
right. So we're looking forward to that announcement and continuing to hopefully expand in Europe. So we're going to be expanding more in England and Germany. We've been trying to keep up with all the demand in the States, so we've kind of kept the rest of the world at bay. But 2023, I don't think I can keep them at bay anymore.
The world's opening up again.
It really
you better
is.
strap in, baby, because the world's open again.
You can play in the deep end of the
That
pool.
whole COVID hoax is over. I only had it twice. It had to be a hoax.
You can play in the deep end of the pool, but what else is out there? You know?
Yeah. Well, just Nick, if you make it, if you hit the Metro Detroit area, we got to sit down. We'll come up to there's our friends at Godfather Cigar, Ambassador Cigar. They got an open door for us to come in and do our shenanigans on site where we can burn stuff and have fun smoking it because we can't do it in the studio. So, but we'll come on site and do that again. If you're in the Metro Detroit area, you got to let us know, please.
Okay, we'll do.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Adam, thank you for just spearheading this whole project. We've had so much fun with Highclere. We had so much fun tonight, and we're going to have so much fun with these cigars when we can get in a place where we can smoke them. But thank you.
No, shit.
You guys, you're always fun to talk to, and I love your passion for and appreciate your support for everything that we do. And the Highclere Senetjer can be found on the Foundation website, which is foundationcigarcompany.com. Nick, right?
Foundation Cigars, or foundationcigarcompany.com. Sure.
And the barrel aging can be ordered, as well as our flagship. But I just poured myself another one of these.
There it is.
Nice.
Delivered to your door at highclerecastlegin.com.
Yes. Oh wow, you can. So now that's delivered.
Oh
Brilliant.
yeah, we've got delivery into 40 U.S. states. It's
Perfect.
not legal in others, but yeah, we've got about 40 U.S. states, 27 EU countries.
40's enough. That's 40's good. 40's good. 40's good. 40.
I
That's
appreciate your interest, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, gentlemen.
I can't wait to shake your hand in person one of these days.
Yes.
I'd like that very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Fellas, thank you so much. Thank you for being part of the Man Cave. Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
gentlemen.
You.